Time now for the news review, and Dr. Joshua Zato, Senior Lecturer, Political Analyst, University of Ghana, joins us, and as well Dixon Chiredia, MP, Berekum West as well, and Nana Yao Sapon, Movement for Change. All of them not new to the show, especially Nana Yao Sapon and as well Dr. Zato. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me this morning. A news review.
Thank you.
Tomorrow is Friday and the weekend is just here. How's your week been so far? I'll start with you, Doc.
Oh, it looks nice. I mean, this is the first time I'm meeting you.
It's nice to meet you.
It looks nice to be here.
Thank you so much.
And if you are sitting by big men, you see them. See the way they are dressed and everything. They are big men. That's why.
Very simple. That's why.
How is your weekend?
Right.
Why? Am I not allowed to answer the question? Why? see this guy.
You have really announced yourself, because before you came in here, they said a few things about you. I won't tell you whether it's good or bad, but I make my own comments. So thank you.
I'm just saying that.
Were we wrong?
It looks like you're not wrong.
Okay. Let me just sit in this corner and let the big man talk.
But it's good to have you on here. Honorable, how are you doing as well? And how's your constituency?
Oh.
Doing well?
Yeah, very well, very well.
Okay.
Let me say good morning to the good people of Berekum West. It's been a very tough week. You know, in Parliament, we're now sitting 6 days in a week. Mondays, Saturdays have been included in the number of days. So it's been very tough. And as we prepare to rise, there are a lot of things going on. Late night sittings, and it's been very tough these days. And let me say a very good morning to my very good friend, Dr. Joshua Zato. And, you know, there's a credential, though. She didn't add to your title, you know. Policy analyst and political analyst. But Dr. Zato is actually a very good politician.
Actually, I thought you were going to say I'm also a senior fellow at Africa Policy Lens.
Exactly.
That's what you would have preferred. But he prefers to give you the other titles, which you don't prefer.
You know?
I don't know where he's going with this. I don't know where he's going with this. I don't know where he's going with this.
You know, I
don't know where he's going with this.
Doc was in Sisala 2014 MPP primary against then incumbent MP. Honorable Chinia. I think you contested him, didn't you?
You see where he was going with this?
But I ask the questions here. Don't ask
Good one.
So, don't
ask the question.
Don't take his job. Don't take his job. Don't take his job. Don't take his job.
Chinia, my very good friend, he has a lot of political experience. So beyond being a lecturer, academic, and he also has political experience. He was in the race against Chinia.
We'll see.
But Chinia totally annihilated him.
Don't take.
So he gave him a political.
Don't take her job. Don't take her job. Don't take her job.
Okay. We'll discuss primaries. Honorable, don't worry. It'll be a good time to discuss primaries. But it's a good secret to let us know.
Mischief detected. Serious mischief detected this morning.
Let's start with what has your attention in the news.
Serious.
No, that's.
Thank you, boss.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Good morning to my brothers. Zato. In fact, now I understand. This morning he's made me understand why his name keeps ringing in my ears.
Yeah.
So I now understand. So I think he has a responsibility to protect my...
He's a very good friend with my big brother. So my big brother, when I was coming here yesterday, said, when you come, look for him and tell him that I'm the one, and give me his number so you can call him. The two of them did a lot of mischief back in Tamale. I'm going, you actually, Tamale Poli, they did a lot of mischief together so many moons ago.
Okay.
Now the chickens are coming back home to roost. So you see the angle. A lot of mischief in Tamale Poli.
I think I have a little advice for you. Today you must be prepared, because
I know.
So we'll take
my brother Victor, they did a lot of mischief back in Tamale Poli. Victor was the SIC president.
To talk about some of the things in the news that has your attention particularly before we get into the newspapers. So let's start with you, Nanayao.
There's something that is trending that we need to deal with, that has to do with this negative social media propaganda. You see, we all live in a nation, and we do not live in isolation. You understand me? We should be be able to manage some of the propaganda that we want or we seek to put out there. I'll give you an example. I think, was it over the weekend? It was all over on social media that the entire of the country was going to go blackout. This wasn't true. Why do you seek to push propaganda? Now, whatever platform you are on travels very far. We are not only dealing with people of this nation. We have foreign direct investors who are monitoring. We have our creditors who are monitoring every single move of ours and every single communication line we put out there. Why do we seek to do this to ourselves? I keep saying that there is time for everything. Even the Bible states it, there are times and seasons. We are not yet in the time of campaigns and all of these propaganda. We just walked out of an elections in December 2024. We need to allow some space for government to work. We need to allow some space for captains of industries to be able to focus. We need to allow some space for us to be able to attract investors into our economy, for the economy to grow. The economy is just stabilizing. Once it's stable, then it would have the opportunity to grow. But if at this stage, we still would want to push negative propaganda, lies, it won't help us. Country broke, country no broke, we all day inside. But we should be able, as a people, understand the fact that, listen, we need to put a good image of Ghana out there. If you do this in the mid of 2028, when we all know we are doing campaigns, we are doing politics, it will be understandable. But at this stage, when they are putting negative propaganda on the dollar rate, and who has and it's not true. You know it is not true. Now, if you use your social media handle, your Facebook page or your Twitter page, that's the X page, to promote this all national blackout and it didn't happen, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Right. And so for you, what has your attention even beyond the newspapers is those who use social media to propagate some propaganda. I'll go to
negative.
Honorable. Negative.
Yes, the propaganda could be positive. You know, it is propaganda has to do with how you push a news to escalate. You understand? Okay. That is the understanding some of us we have. But when it is negative news and it is news that is not true, it's lies, that is where I'm coming from.
Okay. And I'll go to Honorable. Honorable, beyond the newspapers in front of you, what is in the news that has your attention? Or generally, what has your attention?
I think the issue of the third national vice chairman of the NDC and the national organizer, Yamin and Abanga, being referred to Yoko for investigation by the Attorney General, has been trending in the last couple of days. And people are wondering why big wigs, top guns of the political party in power are being referred for such investigations. And some of us are not surprised at all because President Mahama has said over and over that he will never shield any of his appointees. He will never shield any of his party officials who are found culpable in whatever areas they find themselves. And especially when it comes to Galamsey, he has vowed to go after individuals who are alleged to be involved. For him, it is not about the evidence being brought to him. Once you are mentioned, you will be investigated. So I'm not surprised at all that the Attorney General has done what is right, referring them to Yoko. And I'm very confident they will cooperate with Yoko. And if they found culpable, they will be dealt with according to the law. And I think this goes to underscore the fact that whoever is invited to appear before Yoko, we should not read any political connotations into it. We should all be prepared to fight this menace. And President Mahama has shown the way. This is not the first time during his term as president, some of his appointees, you remember Victoria Mahama was fired, Loretta Lamte got themselves into trouble. Buga Pele was prosecuted. And there are a lot of such examples. So I'm not surprised at all. And this is the beginning of big things to happen. Whoever is involved, once President Mahama has vowed to go after all those involved, you should be prepared that they will come after you. So let us wait and see how the investigations unravel. Having said that, let me hasten to add here that multitudes of allegations do not also constitute evidence. And once the people are before investigation, let us wait. And whatever the outcome, we all accept. So it is too early for people to go to town, say, you know, NDC, big wigs are into Galamsey. It had been perhaps some other leaders, they would have shielded one of their own, but President Mahama has chosen to do otherwise. Let them face investigations. If they are cleared, so be it. If they are found culpable, they go through the rigors of the law.
All right. Thank you. Dr. Zato, it will be you now. Beyond the newspaper in front of you, what generally has your attention?
Once again, thank you very much, and thank you to all the listeners there. I want to agree completely with what the Honorable has said. And I want to continue on that trajectory of Galamsey. About some few months ago, Ken Ashigbe, considered one of the leading voices in this anti-Galamsey movement, actually came out with a headline that says that when it comes to Galamsey fight, NDC criminals have replaced NPP criminals. It's actually in a big headline, he's made that point. Secondly, when it comes to the Galamsey fight, everybody in this country agrees that we are not winning the war. In fact, we are not even putting a dent on the fight. It's completely agreed. Your own Erastus, I'm sure he's somewhere in this building, he will tell you that. This morning, as I was coming, I was listening to the Super Morning Show. They were asking a very simple question. What prevents the President of the Republic of Ghana from declaring a state of emergency around water bodies? What prevents when they wanted to pass this energy levy bill, we'll come to it, it was with a state of emergency. When they wanted to pass the holiday so that we can go and chill, sit down and chill and reflect, it went with a state of emergency. We have been told that Galamsey is an existential threat. That means that our very survival as a people is being threatened by Galamsey. Why are we not repealing that law as a matter of what? State of emergency. What you've seen the president doing here is wishy-washy. Just yesterday, this week, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana declared publicly, somewhere in second, somewhere in the Western, that Galamsey is now a national emergency. Galamsey is now. So when I heard, I was like, wait, now as in July 2025? Or now as in the year 2025? Because as at 2023, the same media coalition, the same independent press has said that it was an existential crisis. 2024, the same people said it was an existential crisis. 2024, October, November, there, I voted for a strike action as a member of UTAG. We went on the strike action because Galamsey was an existential threat and because Galamsey was an emergency. You mean all that time it wasn't a national emergency? So I agree now. Even if the president, or even if it wasn't there, because everybody else knew that it was a national emergency. Everybody else knew that it was an existential threat. Because I believe that in the order of what should freak you out, existential is here and emergency is here. That when you say something existential, it should really freak you out. But let's agree. Let's agree it's emergency. So, Mr. President, what do you do? Very simple things to deal with the emergencies. One, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, the president can declare a state of emergency around water bodies. Simple as that. This morning, this evening, they can rush to Parliament with an emergency certificate of bill to remove or to repeal the law. Everybody, and I'm not saying me, look at this house, every single journalist in this world, every single person you can talk to. I've just mentioned Ken Ashigbe, I've mentioned Asare. What's his name? Erastus Adanko. I've mentioned Senor Hosi. These are respectable voices in the fight against Galamsey. Each and every one of them tells you that these are no more even low-hanging fruits. These are ground-lying fruits. Just pick them. Why is the president not going to do that? Secondly, there's absolutely nothing that the current government is doing that the former government did not do. And the result is the same. The waters are not getting better. The communities are being devastated and everything is happening. So when you now see a headline or something that says that we are arresting 3 indicators, they ask, why? Then there's a theory going around. There's a theory as to why they're targeting these people. The internal battles in the NDC are beginning. This Joseph Yamin and Yakubu Abanga and others, I believe, not to be supporting the president's candidate or preferred successor or preferred heir apparent.
Is that not a bit of a stretch?
It's a theory. Remember I just said that. It's a theory. And so this, and now if they are in Galamsey and they are making money, they will use that money to support whichever candidate they prefer to replace the president when the NDC primaries come around. So cut them from the knees. Cut them off from the knees so that they don't have any money else to do. I'm saying that it's targeting a certain group of people who are one. I'm saying it's a theory.
It beats my mind.
It does, exactly. That's how we are. Because if no, people are then asking, if you are really...
I'm unable to associate with it, especially the platform.
Pardon?
We are unable to associate with this.
No, I said it's a theory. I'm not saying it's what's happening. I'm saying it's a theory. I'm just telling you that people are asked the question, why are you not doing the simple things? The very simple things of what? Declare state of emergency, the very simple thing of what? Repeal the law. Why are you rather going after your own people? And I'm saying that it is one, to make it the waters.
So Doc is suggesting...
I'm not suggesting. I'm saying that it has been... You asked why it has been postulated. It has been said that... it has been that... it has been hypothesized that...
Because
this could be the reason. I'm saying it's a hypothesis. Yes, it's
We'll wait.
Exactly. So we'll wait to see.
We'll wait until it's peer reviewed.
Thank you.
Let's go on to
it's a hypothesis.
This goes to underscore...
Let's go on to the news.
This goes to underscore Doc's conviction that you don't go after your own party member.
Go after
arrest them.
Yes. But when I heard this, I was also to know this that there is a report called the Professor Prinform Button report.
Yes.
Arrest everybody. I don't care. Look, if you jail people who are trying them because of Galamsey, you will never see me try to defend or just anybody who has been properly charged and been taken through for breaking the law. If Galamsey is an essential...
So why this story you are propounding?
No, I think the two of you are quite on the same page. Let's go into the newspapers.
Let us clear something that Zato is putting out there. When there is a difference between a theory being out there and probably some misinformation or a school of thought that would be there. I do not know the national organizer of the NDC, the Kumasi guy, what's his name?
Joseph Yamin.
Joseph Yamin, and then Abanga. But if they have been invited because it is purported that they are involved in Galamsey, I think
there were petitions against them.
Yes, we should
by the small
be able
scale
to deal with the matter.
Association.
Now, where did it come from? The small scale miners who are into illegal mining were being pursued. Now, if you are being pursued, we all on this table would have agreed since the fight of this Galamsey that once you begin to pursue them, then they begin to draw in political connotations. Now, this is where we are today. All right, so in order to be able to divert our attention from dealing with the matter, they petition these people and then they try to draw them in. Notwithstanding, we are not able to say for a fact. One, Yamin has been in the media. He's stated on his social media handle clearly, without ambiguity, that he has not been involved in mining. He has nothing to do with mining, and he has disassociated himself from them. Yes, he's going to face the Yoko and deal with the matter. So we let it lie. Now, if we want to ask what the president has done beyond his words of declaring that Galamsey is a national emergency, of course, we all agree. The president himself, before he became president, agreed that Galamsey was a national crisis. And we are saying that we should declare a state of emergency. But then the forest reserves and these same water bodies have been declared as security zones. You understand me? And beyond the declaration of it being a security zone, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable Amakofi Boa, also launched the Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat. All right, and this brought together the agencies that are supposed to fight Galamsey. So we have the Ministry of Interior, we have the Ministry of Defense, we have Lands and Natural Resources, and all those agencies allied.
How do you respond to people who have said that all these measures are not novel? They are measures that may have existed prior to this government, just renamed, reintroduced?
If you would ask me, I would say to a point that it is novel. Why? because we had instances where a particular ministry or an agency would set up its own task force, and this one sets up its own task force. Now, this is a synchronization of all of them. Okay. Because there are times you go to the Galamsey areas, and I've stated it here, because I am a policeman and I do not understand the licensing procedures and the certifications of minor. When I go there, they will show me a document and I might not even understand on the surface of it what it is about. You understand? But this is a task force that has all of them together. So if I come and you say you have documentation, you bring it out. We have a member of the task force who is from Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, probably from the Minerals Commission, who understands the documentations. You understand me? We have somebody from Defense who would be able to use the arm if the need be, because the police sometimes they just go in to protect. They don't use the arm. If there ought to be an arrest, we have a policeman from the Ministry of Interior who would cause the arrest. So it's a synchronization of all of this. And beyond this, the president comes yesterday and says that it's a national emergency. Communication is very important. Once he has declared a national emergency, it means that at this point where we are today, he is emphasizing or putting some pressure on this task force to be able to push the work they are doing.
Okay.
And that clarity ought to be made.
Let me come to Honorable, especially because we've introduced task force.
Yeah.
I mean, we're dealing, just yesterday, the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners have just said that while we recognize that task force is supposed to be sanitizing the small-scale mining areas, maybe Galamsey or illegal mining, there have been some parallel task force, those that are now they have mutated. These task forces have mutated to become task forces that are not legally mandated and are extorting them. So it looks like we want to solve a problem, we want to mitigate a problem, then we create another problem. How do you respond to this?
Let me state clearly that probably DOC has not followed closely this government's fight against Galamsey. All fronts. Doc, you are aware of the difficulty one faces now, even if you want to bring in excavators and earth-moving equipment into this country.
What's the difficulty? The prohibition
virtually,
or
there is a ban on that. Virtually, and if you get in...
The ministry, Transport Ministry only said that if you do not have a license, you cannot import.
Exactly. To get it registered, that's the difficulty. Gone were the days when you could freely bring those equipment in as if you were bringing your Toyota Land Cruisers or any other vehicles. Now, there is serious restriction on that front.
So we have to trust the body that's enforcing the restriction.
Exactly. Doc, again, the Blue Water Initiative is also working very hard. On top of the task force, we have Blue Water Initiative, and the task force is also on the ground working. Then deterrence is key. You know, as Nana just said, if you know you are a politically exposed person, whether your government is in power or not, you will not be shielded. So the government has demonstrated ample commitment, especially the minister responsible for lands and natural resources, Honorable Amakofi. He's been on the ground, has been battling, and over 7 of our forests that were previously occupied by illegal miners have been retrieved. Dozens of them. So the fight is on, and I will admit that we are not out of the woods yet. But Doc, in the last 6 months, you would have appreciated that the fight has been stepped up to different levels. And I'm very confident eventually we're going to win the fight. Talking about task force that are mutating to become extortionists and those things, these are the challenges we face. These are the clear challenges as Ghanaians. Some security people are put out there, and you have 1 or 2 who, instead of being a patriot and be protecting our natural resources, rather be thinking about their personal interests. And that's why it's important we go after each and every one, in the case of the Yamin and Abanga case, these allegations being raised by the small-scale miners, and investigations are underway. Then you have people on the other side reading different political connotations into it. How do we fight
Did we not,
menace?
Did we not, Doc, I'll come to you now. Did we not anticipate this, that because we already have existing bodies that can fight illegal mining, and because we've introduced what we describe as the task force, it is anticipated, or we anticipated, that it will mutate to what we're facing today?
But whether task force or not, some of these things are, I mean, they are local issues that, I mean, people could just go in and start money here and there. But the point is, when these issues come up, how do you deal with them? And that is exactly what this government is doing. Okay. And you see, as Doctor was trying to propound those theories here and there, if we go along this trajectory, how do we fight it? Wuntumi is invited, then he says because he wants to become national chairman of MPP, that is why he's being pursued. But these things are not going to deter this government. It will go after everybody, irrespective of your political affiliations, irrespective of your class in the society, because this is a menace. This government has committed to fighting. In fact, not only the government, the executive, everybody, parliamentarians, they've been series of workshops for us to also to contribute into fighting this menace. So we are, together, and I'm very confident we will get a result. It's a very difficult fight, though, but we will get a result.
You want to be, Dr. Okay. See, and if you have followed the steps, we had declared before, before the elections, that for any government to be able...
Who are the we? Movement
for Change, yes. Before any government is able to fight Galamsey, 2 major steps. Okay, aside the 10 steps that we gave and the withdrawal of the licenses and all of that. One was to introduce that element of shoot to kill. You understand me? Number 2 was to get...
Shoot to kill as well?
Oh, yes, of course. If it's declared a security zone, if you are causing ecocide, which is genocide, means you are killing people. And so that's how
this was in your plan.
Oh, this is a statement we've made. Shoot to kill, and I've said it here before. And I think the former first deputy speaker of parliament, my father, Joe Wise, also stated that yes, we should declare those areas. Once we see you there, you're not supposed to be there. It's a security zone. But go to deter people. Now, number 2, you see, if you look at the setting up of the gold board and their processes, introducing the tracings of the origins of gold that are being sold in the market, that is one other major step. Now, if you have gold and you want to sell, there is only one. So it means you are taking control of the gold market. There is only one place you can sell it. Now, once you go to sell the gold there, you should be able to produce or provide them the information about the origin, the source of that gold you are holding to sell.
Okay.
So the area which is from the company that mined it and all of that. And so if it is not in their records, it means that it is an illegal gold you are holding. Number 2,
I think it'll be fair now to bring Doc in.
Yes, you cannot keep buying gold of the market and you would want to keep them in your houses. No, you would have to definitely sell to make your money.
Okay.
And so you should be able to provide documentations to that effect.
Doc, you've heard the rebuttals, and it's still a part of what's in front of the newspapers. And whilst you're addressing this, I'd like you to address the issue of the mutated tax force exactly, because yesterday it was a major headline.
Thank you. As I was listening to the 2 honorable men, I had a eureka moment. Something hit me. The movement for change in the NDC seems to have a symbiotic relationship now. They seem to be reading from the same hymn book. There seems to be both their philosophy, their media strategy and approach and commentary is the same. It's like they share notes.
Give me an example.
What they're just saying. Look, I'm saying that if you just go back and look at the rhetoric, in opposition, they all campaigned on what? On virtue. In opposition, they all campaigned in poetry, fluently. They made these issues look very simplistic. Every one of them, I can quote directly, call for a state of emergency. Everyone. And I'm telling you, we went on a strike at UTAC and Labour because we wanted this thing repealed. Everybody, the NDC, the Movement for Change, all of them agreed to this. All of a sudden, they have metamorphosed. You're talking about mutation. They have mutated, metamorphosed to become one powerful force. To now say they are the same. They are I and my parties are one. The Movement for Change in the NDC, I and my parties are one. They are now one. Yesterday, I was on TV with one. Today, I'm on TV. Wherever I go, they are the same. They are saying the same. They're singing the same. Come on, you guys, you don't need to form your party. Just join them. You just become one. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've realized. Because they are one. Now, let me go back. Let me now go back. Let me talk about the question. The second thing is this.
When you had your...
He also joined. The Movement for Change also joined now. You watch. Both of them will join. They are the same. Movement for Change and NDC are now one and the same.
Let's be fair.
And that's what they do. That's why whenever they see me, they all pounce on me. They're the same. Movement for Change, NDC,
they all pounce on you.
I and my parties are one. They are all one. They are the same. So I want to understand that so that when they are passing to me, when they are passing to me, you know.
I'll give you the permission to ask. Secondly, part of the NDC.
Can I go?
That is what I wanted to clarify.
Let me finish.
That's fair. Honorable, hold on.
Let me finish my term. The second thing is this. You've just mentioned. First, there were the Mami Water body soldiers or people that were sent to go and protect the water. The blue,
which one is the Mami Water?
The blue water. Blue? They look like Mami Water guards. And I actually told them that they could have gone to use Mandron Leprong. Mandron Leprong is the river in Mandron. Mandron is Sisala East. That offers is both a spiritual, healing river. People go there for the day. They could have used that. Because Mandron Leprong have more power than this Mami water keepers that are
But Mandron...
Gold is a multi-billion dollar industry.
Okay.
The people in the Galamsey will say how powerful they are. You think somebody wearing a blue t-shirt stands against them? I have told you, everything you have seen done, raids, military raids, police raids, it has been happening since 2003. We are doing the same thing and expecting different results. And I'm saying, don't take what I've said, disregard me. Don't believe anything I've said. Erastus Asarijanko is in this building. Call him and ask him whether, despite everything they are saying, are we putting a dent on the Galamsey? I will say no. Call Ken Ashube, ask him. Call the media coalition against Galamsey. So my point is that if what my friend said here is true, if what the Honorable said is true, why are we not putting a dent on the fight? Because right now, we could have had these independent bodies telling us that, okay, look, because of these actions, we are seeing a steady drop, or because of this action, we are seeing an improvement. Nah, nobody is saying that. So my point then is that, what is wrong? What are we doing right? And I'm saying, can we try a new thing? Can we try a different approach? And this different approach would then be saying, okay, let's now declare state of emergency and see. Let's now repeal this bill and see. Can we try that one too? In other words, what I'm calling for is an all of the above approach.
But how do you repeal something that is illegal already? But
it's still in the law. And it was promised. It was promised by the previous government that when we come to power, we'll repeal this. Secondly, you can declare state of emergency. I've just told that.
When you declare state of emergency, paint a picture here, indulge me a bit. When you declare state of emergency, how would it look like? Because already it says illegal, do not mine over there.
But they are there.
And if you declare state of emergency, they will not mine there. I thought you said they're powerful, these people are.
Thank you. See, there are still civilian laws applying when you go to whatever body right now. There are civilian laws. So the soldiers going there still have to deal with civilian laws. Let me ask you the difference. Boku now has a state of emergency, and there's even a curfew. That means then that you are giving the security agencies all the powers to restore sanity. I think there's another place somewhere in the north. When we declare state of emergency, we are simply saying that the whole mighty force of the state will be used to make sure that this is happening. My point is that it should be part and parcel of the tools, of the instruments, of the policy instruments available at the disposal of the government to fight this. When you are fighting something that people have said is worse than terrorism, when you are fighting something that our scientists are telling us is causing us cancers and killing us, you adopt an all of the above approach. And all of the above approach will involve declaring all water bodies. Don't go near water body. And all of the above approach will say, declare all these people, don't go there so that we don't even have to deal with you being there. And then they go there. My point is that unless and until we come out with all of these things, everything that we are doing here now become fanciful.
Let's talk about increase in fuel.
Thank you.
Let me just do a rebut.
No, you know what? If we go on this, if you rebut, I have to give Honorable the opportunity to rebut.
He put a
Did he?
negative.
Go on. Few seconds.
Number one, movement for change is not a subset of any political party.
I do not recall him saying subset. He says symbiotic. Maybe you show symptoms and I don't know.
Is that a 2 or 1?
Is that the
2 or 1?
All right.
But a subset of any political party.
Okay.
And he knows. He knows that Alan John Kojo Tremantin cannot be influenced in any way. See, this is a pull-up from Joy News, your own platform, My Joy Online. On the 30th September 2024, one of your freelancers, James Kumikosa, reported, Alan Tremantin outlines 10-point plan to end Galamsey. Right? And we, point by point, we explained the moves to take in ending Galamsey.
Okay.
Including the introduction of community guards. You understand? Who would monitor the activities of Galamseyers and report to a main source. And I think that is one of the things that was done by the NDC, that they introduced the Blue Water Gate.
Okay, I think it's
so
you've
let us
rebutted nicely.
That Movement for Change was the first political organization in this country towards the election 2024 that launched its great transformational plan. And they, in the NPP and in the NDC, had not even thought about how to put together their manifestos.
Please take a bite so we go into
a quick
I think you have made the
quick one on that.
Yeah.
You know,
the
fact put on the ground, the fact that gold board or gold sales are traceable, the fact that restrictions on moving equipment, the fact that Blue Guard initiative is working, the fact that the government is pursuing all manner of persons involved. These facts, Doc was not able to rebut them, except to say, and if these facts are collaborated, it does not make us 2 in 1. I think that is the fact that must be established. Now, in the energy sector, you were talking about the energy levy.
No, because you landed on the Galamsey. Let's
energy
it honorable. Sector
1. I want to look at it in broader perspective. And, you know, as part of President Mahama's accountable governance series, yesterday, the Honorable Minister for Energy and Green Transition was in the office of the President to meet the media. And he clearly and competently elucidated all the issues in the energy sector. And we've said time and again that this 1 cedi increase came as a result of the mounting energy sector debt. Yesterday, if you heard him, the IPPS alone, we owe them about 1.7 billion. The general debts in the energy sector, over 3 billion. All these have culminated into a situation where, at the time the minister took office, we were at the brink of having outages, total crisis in the energy sector. And we were faced with these evils, and we had to take a decision. And the decision is that for 8 consistent periods, fuel prices have been dropping 8 times this year. So why don't we find about 5 billion a year so that we can buy fuels to power our plants? That is how come this levy was introduced. Implementation was delayed. Eventually, it kicked off yesterday. Notwithstanding the 1 cedi on top of every liter, we still have fuel prices. 1 gallon of petrol is under 55 cedis. We were buying them 70 cedis when we came to power in January. So admittedly, there's been marginal increase at the pump. But compared to prices at the pump in January, we are still making a lot a lot of savings. Beyond the introduction of this levy, the most important thing is what steps is this government, what steps is the minister responsible for energy taking to ensure that in 3-4 years' time, we will not come back to Ghanaians to tell them to pay more. That is most important thing. And the ministry has introduced wide range of prudent measures. If you listened to him yesterday, one of such measures, prudent, sustainable procurement measures being put in place. And he was very clear that as at July this year, compared with the expenditures in 2024, you spend just 40% of that. And clearly, the days when the ECG and other energy industry players were going on profligate spending are over. So prudent expenditure, one of such measures. 2, now we're rolling out solar street lights. And you know, our street lights are taking over 200 megawatts from the grid. If we finish with that, we're going to shed over 200 megawatts of the grid, make a lot of savings. 3, the government is now seeking for private partnership with ECG. And people are going around with misinformation, disinformation to the effect that government is selling ECG. No. Private partner participation in the areas of billing and revenue mobilization. And that is also going to help. Haven't we all been complaining about commercial losses and technical losses at ECG? And it is not business as usual. So if we get this private participation in the areas of billing and revenue mobilization, and the emphasis is on Ghanaian companies that are interested can come on board so that we do this.
Okay.
Again and again, this
Would you land
minister,
on this point? Would you land
this
on this
minister
point?
has done more than enough to avert the looming energy crisis we were facing at the time he took office. Now, our fuel reserve to power our plants, we are very sure at least at any point in time, we have over 2 weeks. He came in and we had virtually less than 3 days. That was why people were talking about the 2.6 days and people were asking what does the 0.6 means and all these things. So I will say we are still not completely out, but the outlook now, the energy sector, July 2025 compared to January 2025, we're making a lot of progress. Okay. So I would plead with Ghanaians that as uncomfortable as it is, let us bear with the situation. And finally, yesterday I heard some drivers complaining about because of 1 cities they will move lorry fare up. I think that is highly unfair. You know, prices of lorry fare does not depend on the cost of fuel alone. Because if we go in by that analogy, fuel prices have dropped by over 30% since January, 8 consecutive times. But prices of transportation have dropped just by 15%. And
so you like them to draw the profits made in the past?
So it is not on that. I mean, prices are based on fuel, maintenance costs, and other operational costs. So why prices of fuel at the pump were dropping consecutively 8 times, prices of transportation did not drop 8 times. Why is that dropped over 30%? Prices did not drop 30%, just 15%. So why increase of 1 cedi, you say you are going to increase? In fact, as Ghanaians, we need to be patriotic. Not only in this area, look at dollar coming down, fuel prices coming. But if you go to market, some prices are still the same, notwithstanding the windfalls businesses are making. So I will use this platform to make a passionate appeal that as businesses, we are profit-oriented though, but the windfalls we are making as a result of the economic gains this government has made, let this be translated into the pockets of ordinary consumers. It is very important we look at it from that
fuel
angle.
prices, thank you so much, Honorable. So fuel prices obviously have increased just about 10, between 8-10. I'm not a mathematician, a good mathematician, but between 8-10%. But of course, because of the increase or because of the levy. What do you have to say about this?
I want to read a news story on City Newsroom. The title is Ghana 1 cedi fuel levy hike won't affect pump prices. President Mahama. The story is written by one Abigail Atta on June 4th, 2025. It's a 1-minute read, but I'll just read something tiny. It says, President John Dramani Mahama has assured Ghanaians that the newly introduced 1 cedi fuel levy will not lead to an immediate increase in fuel prices at the pump. I also have a new listing here to read. It's a news release from Star Oil, now considered the biggest supplier. New general fuel price effective 16 July 2025 at 8 a.m. And they said that they've increased the prices as a result of the 1 cedi. So we have two different narratives here, two different stories here. One is saying that when this happens, there'll be no immediate increase in the fuel prices. As we sit here, every single fuel station distributor in the country has increased their prices by up to 10%. Two different narratives. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. Two different narratives. Now, I know what to believe because I'm buying fuel and I know what I'm paying for it. One of the cardinal issues that we talk about in this country is the issue of what we call nuisance taxes. And governments upon government have always promised that they would do away with what? Nuisance taxes. So when this government came, one of the first nuisance taxes they deal with the other e-levy. You see, the thing about e-levy is that it was a tax of choice. You could decide to pay or not to pay. So it was called a nuisance tax. Let it go. I've paid e-levy before. And nobody likes to pay taxes. No citizen likes to pay taxes. I've paid it. It was a nuisance tax, but I've paid it. I had no choice. The second was betting tax. Betting tax, we also told, was a nuisance tax. I've never paid betting tax. And something tells me you've never paid it, you don't bet. So that was also a tax of choice. Because it's a tax of choice, it's a nuisance. I can agree with that theory too. I can agree with that understanding to that. These taxes were nuisance. So let's get away with nuisance taxes and move to better places of distance. If betting tax was a nuisance tax, how do you justify D-levy? If E-levy was a nuisance tax, how do you justify this? Because under both betting tax and E-levy, you had options. You could opt out of paying. This one, you can't opt out. And we've seen the percentage increases. We've seen, you buy, somebody sent me something that if you buy 1,000 liters of oil, you are paying it almost 83 cedis. Look at the effect this will have on ordinary Ghanaians. That's what I'm saying, that there's a narrative from the government that no, it will not increase, not have effect, but there's a narrative from the real users. Right now, as I talk to you, farmers are on the farm, farming. They need diesel. Those farmers, if you go to the maize belt of Ghana, the Sisala lands in Upper West, if you go to where you, Bono or Brown, the farmers are on the farm right now, right?
Yeah.
They need fuel, they need diesel. The price of diesel we've just known has increased by about 10%.
I have one question. How would you rather this government deal with the energy sector challenge?
There are better ways to do it. There are better ways to do it. You'll be surprised to hear that. I am not against the current reforms that they are doing at the ECG. I'm surprised. Actually, I've published an academic article on the SPD. What was that? The former
ESLA?
No, the one that the PDS.
Okay.
I've published an academic journal. I've also published a book chapter on that one. And the policy failure, but I was told that it's a policy that was failing. So I am not against using the private sector to discipline ECG, discipline any sector. I'm not afraid. It depends upon how it is done, how nice or better it is done, protecting the interests of labor and protecting the national interest. I'm not against that at all. As I said, you can read what I've said, what I wrote about that. What I'm saying is that sometimes in this country, one of the problems we have is our inability to recognize when you are in a position and you offer simplistic solutions, when you know that some of these problems are endemic and structural. When you make it look like it is so simple, so easy to fix energy sector prices, only for you to come inside and say, My point is that if you ask me how to do it, I don't think that we should have removed the betting tax. I don't think that, in fact, especially the betting tax. I thought that we would have just, and see what is happening.
But you describe those as nuisance.
Yes.
Would you describe that?
We have just moved it.
But would you that would be an equitable way of paying tax? It will not be equal.
Yes. So exactly, my point is that because this, and I'll be happier knowing that you've rather moved the tax to stabilize the energy sector. So you've removed it from betting, but you've just moved it here. That's what actually has happened. Policies don't terminate. Public policies don't terminate. There's nothing. Virtually nothing like policy termination. Government just finds a way to move them and to bring them to other places. What we are seeing right now is an attempt to put an undue burden on Ghanaians. When you have promised them, when you've promised that you deal with new taxes.
Okay.
We should come to the realization as a country that, look, no citizen anywhere wants to pay taxes. Taxation is difficult. But when you make it look like the tax that this other person has brought is not good, but your tax is good, you create this situation where people then think that you were just criticizing for criticizing's sake.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay, that's quite clear. Anel,
Yeah.
this one that you are battering your shirts. These rebuttals are going to be interesting.
Oh, no. I mean, but spade is spade. You understand me? And there is a clear difference between a nuisance tax and a tax that is by choice.
Progressive.
When they see something as nuisance, basic definition that it's inconvenient, it's burdensome, right? It's like a burden. It's people or the payer feels unfair. Now, that is the definition that was given to all right. And before a tax is introduced, there are reasons for the introduction of the tax. What was the reason that was given for the introduction of e-levy? We need to be clear on that. Number two, what are the reasons given for the introduction of the energy sector levy? Very clear. Number one, there was so much of debt on the energy sector that we needed to clear. In fact, prior to today, we had what we call the Osler.
Yeah.
And this same Osler, which was supposed to have been used to clear the energy sector debt, was used as a collateral.
Yeah. 36 billion was accumulated.
Now,
How much? 37.
36 billion between 2017 and 2024.
Okay.
And it was not used to clear the debt.
it was used as a collateral instead of using to clear the debt. But two, the energy sector was threatened. The power sector was threatened, let me put it that way. We were owing the IPPs, that's the independent power producers, so much money that they threatened to stop producing power. Government needed to step in. And now if I'm a businessman and you are owing me and you say you would pay me, there should be some form of guarantee to show that indeed you can pay. And so they introduced this one so that the power producers and our other creditors would have the assurance that there is something in that we can use to pay you off, even if you continue to provide us your services. You understand me? Now, this one CD that we are putting on is not only to pay debts, but it's also to create some money for us to invest in the energy sector. Now, from 2017 till the end of 2024, this is not propaganda, this is not a strict. ECG themselves, VRA themselves, have stated that there was not a single investment in the energy sector. We didn't say it. Their reports are there to say. And we all agree that there ought to be some investment there in terms of infrastructure and even the power generation. All right? You'd have some transformers that have never been replaced since they were installed. We had a lot of issues in terms of infrastructure, which was clearly stated, being part of the problems they were having. In fact, there were some would say they had overproduced, but indeed there were shortages of power production.
That's a December.
It was in
700
deficit.
megawatts deficit.
It was in deficit.
December 2024.
And we have to be able to mitigate.
Okay.
So, you see...
Whilst you're at it, I'm not cutting you, but whilst you're at it, persons like Doctor, who said he had published extensively on this, and some stakeholders have also said that the problem is structural.
No, I'm coming there.
You certainly know where I'm going,
yes,
right?
Yes, if you allow me. And you see, once we are able to deal with the matter, all right, with having that level of assurance and guarantee that this is how much we are able to generate, then we would now come into the matter of structure and management. All right? The strategy to be able to deal with the waste in the system. All right? Aside the waste in the system when it comes to power generation, we should also be able to deal with the waste in the revenue collection.
You don't want to deal with that before you start looking for investment?
They go hand in hand.
Okay.
See, the monies are not just being collected. The monies are being collected, the taxes are being put in place as a form of an assurance to these persons who have interest in investing, to these independent power producers so that they do not cut off the power production. You would recall that they threatened, they issued letters here and there that they are going to stop the power production. They needed some level of assurance. And of course, the Minister for Energy, John Jinapo, they have put in place some measures to be able to deal with the issues of structure and management. And yesterday, if you had listened to him, he was very emphatic on the structural management of ECG and was it BOST or Toma? I've forgotten one of them. He mentioned one other agency that is under him. He was very clear on it. And so, if we all would agree, Mifa, the 1 cedi levy or so is a necessary evil. Nobody desires to pay. But where we have gotten to, do we have an option? Let us give ourselves that opportunity to be able to deal with the matter as stated.
Okay.
Now,
I'm going to be distributing 3 minutes.
One fundamental question I would want you to ask the many people who have published papers on this, that aside identifying the challenges and the problems and the other, have they been able to propose?
There was a proposal, privatization.
To be able to, but private.
Many have said, I see the government engaging in private sector. But
listen, we in the Movement for Change, in our great transformational plan, had proposed privatization, the privatization of certain sectors of or branches of the ECG. Because, listen, it's a national security asset. Let's be honest. If you put it in the hands of a private man, Zato, when he wakes up from the wrong side of the pillow, you decide to put the whole country off.
Add your ending statement.
What you say?
You decide
to put it off.
Because I have 2 minutes to share for Honorable.
He wakes up and then he goes, Jewa, says, Ghana, off. So, you see, we have proposed that you deal with the issue, especially with the revenue collections. Those are the areas you should be privatizing.
Okay.
All right? The metering, the billings, these are the non-core.
The very cancerous areas of ECG.
These are the non-core. The core areas of ECG, you should not
privatize
these. So it's a necessary evil.
Please have your bite.
That we should be able to manage our expectations in all of these things but I think the ministers are doing what they are putting in some measures.
Okay. When you ask Doc what measures, if he disagrees with the 1 cedi levy, he didn't outline any measures. But let me tell you, in 2016, when President Mahama was in office, he enacted the ESLA law. He left office in 2017, and between January 2017 and December 2024, 36 billion Ghana cedis was accrued to deal with the energy sector debt. That was misapplied. They didn't use to deal with the debt. Now, coming back to office, debt there has ballooned to over $3.1 billion. That is aside what will be required to procure fuel to get our lights on. So we are in a very difficult situation. And government is not only introducing this measure, but concurrently, there are multiplicity of measures that are in place. One, the private participation in the revenue mobilization billing.
Would you agree with me if you say that? Would you agree with me? And I'll allow you
concurrently.
Would you agree with me that it's not that they didn't use the funds? Of course, the other.
But as long it was, I'm a member of parliament. It was set up purposely to deal with the energy sector. So if you collect it and you say you use it to build roads, and the energy sector debt is there, is it not misapplication?
Okay.
I'm not saying they chopped the money, but they misapplied. They didn't deal with the situation.
Okay.
If the issue has been dealt with, the energy sector debt had been dealt with, we wouldn't be here today.
Okay.
I normally don't want to go back and apportion blames, but they are the cause of the situation we have at the moment, and this government is confronting the situation head on. Apart from introducing this, we are seeking for private sector billing and mobilization to reduce commercial losses. That is one. Two, this very government is now, plans are far advanced to build another gas plant. It was NDC government that built the Tuabo gas plant, and you know, that provides us with cheaper fuel to power our plant. 8 years, they didn't do anything. We are back in, apart from these measures, we are now building another plant, so our reliance on fossil fuel will be reduced. Again,
that's your final one.
Prudent procurement. I told you that 6 months in 2025 compared with 6 months in 2024, you spent 60% less than what was spent, and savings made in thereof is contributing to reducing the energy sector debt. Again, the minister has signed KPIs, key performance indicators, with the management of ECG. The management of ECG has signed KPIs with their regional managers, and we're going to strictly monitor. Again, this government is deploying renewable energy policies across, and most public buildings, schools, clinics are going to have solar panels on their rooftops. Okay. And that will save us a lot of energy from the grid.
Really
so there are multiplicity, of measures alongside this, so that in 3-4 years, we will not come back and ask Ghanaians to pay more. Okay. So it is not as if the government is introducing this as the only measure to deal with the problem.
Thank you.
There are other measures.
Don't be sinister.
How do you allow a potential propagandist to take the last bite?
The last bite, yes. And you see,
no, I will not allow. How do you describe him as a propagandist? He is a political analyst.
No, I'm not taking that away from you.
Dog is MPP.
He's MPP communicator. Let us put that on record. That is what I told you. Just last year,
please take the
he was on the ballot of MPP primaries,
I see that ballot,
and he was annihilated by Chinia. He lost the primaries, but when he comes on there, he comes as a political analyst. So let us give him the credentials as MPP.
Please land well. Please land and don't break your legs. Honorable, no.
Clear the vetting to contest on the ticket of political party. You've been an active member for at least 4 years.
Honorable, no, please.
At least 4 years. Otherwise,
let him have his bite.
Please.
Look, he's my very good friend, so...
At the beginning of this show, I said the movement of the change in the NDC, I won. I and my party, I won. People thought I was lying. You've seen it. You've seen this is what we call verifiable evidence. The movement for change in the NDC, they are one and the same. You've just seen.
Look, in January 2024,
secondly,
did you contest on the ticket of party?
You see. The one is what you secondly.
Is that propaganda?
Secondly. Honorable.
Okay, ask him for me. Was he...
Be fair.
Was he on the ballot?
Be fair, no.
Was
that's
he
not what we are
defeated by
discussing
Chinia
today. That's not what we are discussing
in the MPP primaries in Sisala East?
Honorable, go on. Did I just call you honorable?
Yes. You want the, you know, he's losing his boot.
No.
He's losing his boot for 2028. I know.
Doc, please go on. Doc, please go on.
Honorable, I understand you. You go explain tire. But this is the reality. And Ghanaians are watching. This year alone, your utility bills have risen by almost 50%. Anywhere from 25 to 50%. Your water and electricity. The reason for that you were told is to use it to solve doomsday. And then at one point we were told that there's no doomsday. So they were increasing these prices to solve the non-existent doomsday. But that is the price to stabilize electricity. Just this week, your energy, your fuel prices too have increased. So just if you want to put a cumulative increase of the taxes on the energy sector alone, you are getting anywhere from 25 to 50% on ordinary Ghanaians. That is the financial burden that has been shoved down your throat by this government. That is the financial burden shoved under your throat by the Aban Papa that has come. So the Aban Papa has come, and this is what you are doing. I understand why the Honorable Minister, then MP, thinks that he should go through all this to try to tell you that, please swallow the bitter pill. I can understand why the minister is telling you that, please, I know we didn't promise you to burden you with taxes. I know we didn't promise to make you suffer under burden. If you are an Okada driver today, you are paying more for your fuel. If you are a Motor King driver today, you are paying more for your fuel. If you are a taxi driver, if you are a truck driver, you are paying more for your fuel. That price will pass on to we consumers. We, the ordinary consumers, are going to face it. Meanwhile, how much was our annual salaries increase? Meanwhile, look at what is happening to ordinary people like us. So I can understand why you explain Taya, and I can understand why both you and the Movement for Change, you are uncomfortable talking about the burden you are putting on Ghanaians. But Ghanaians know, and Ghanaians will remember this, and Ghanaians will know that these were the draconian taxes you put on them at this particular moment, and they won't forget.
You.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you, Nanayao. Thank you so much. I don't have 30 seconds to give. I don't have it. We'll continue tomorrow, but thank you. Thank you so much for news review, and I've had Dr. Joshua Zato, Senior Lecturer, Political Analyst from the University of Ghana. I've also had Dixon Tredia, MP, Brekum West, and then I've also had Nanayao Sapon, Movement for Change, today on News Review. I promise you I'll get a photo of Dr. Zato, whether indeed he contested, and then we'll put. Thank you so much. Please stay. You're watching the AM show.
So ask me.
Oh my God.